What's going on YouTube? My name is FG3000. I'm back in the place to be and welcome back for the last and final time to Magia Record. If you guys have not heard the news, this game is officially shutting down on the 29th of this month and I feel that's quite unfortunate. If you guys do not know about Magia Record, this game is brought to you by the same exact team that brought you Fate Grand Order Aniplex. And the similarities between the two titles is quite prominent, especially when it comes to combat. Magia Record basically has the Fate Grand Order combat system with a twist plus autoplay. And I know a lot of FGO fans out there would absolutely love to have autoplay in their game. Magia Record had it. Not to mention it ticks one of FG's hero collecting boxes when it comes to heroes that use unique weaponry. How many games out there do you have heroes that use scissors as a weapon, pots and pans, golf clubs, fans? There's not a lot of games out there, and I do think that this game absolutely deserved to live within its small niche. However, the game absolutely was a small niche game, kind of living in the Fate Grand Order shadow. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to hero collectors on mobile, being a small niche title is really hard to maintain, you know? Beyond the initial rush of downloads by, fans of the series and people that recognize the IP, the game really quite struggled trying to attract new players. And we talk about this all the time in the Shutdown series. It does not matter how good your game is. Your game could be nearly like a 10 out of 10 experience. People are still going to stop playing the game and people are going to still continue to uninstall your game every single day. And your job as a hero collector on the mobile platform is basically being in this perpetual state where you're constantly trying to attract new players to download your game. You absolutely cannot maintain a game as a service with the initial wave of downloads. You just can't. Eventually you kind of bleed out. And that's a problem that Magia Record was never really able to solve. And to be honest, I don't think it's the game's fault. I just don't think this game had the ability to have that kind of crossover appeal to attract impulse downloads, right? When you see a game like this and you see like the cutesy little, petite little characters, it doesn't really have the same crossover appeal as seeing an ad for like Seven Deadly Sins and you see Escanor dancing in that amazing graphics engine that the game has. That has a little crossover appeal. People can see that ad and go, you know what? I'm gonna download Seven Deadly Sins and give it a try. Magia Record didn't really have that type of appeal. And like I said, that's not really the game's fault per se, but that's definitely an issue that Magia Record had when it came to attracting new players. And like I said, those impulse downloads when you're just kind of scrolling through the Play Store, you see this or you see like a new banner for this game. What about this game is really gonna attract people that have no idea what this IP is? Not a lot, even though I do think the game does offer quite a bit when it comes to that. And unfortunately, when it comes to, advertising your game in those small little ads, you don't really have a lot of time to kind of really articulate what about your game is different and unique. And my friends, when it comes to like some of the enemy variety in this game, when it comes to the crazy, like when you're looking at the backgrounds and you're looking at the enemies right now, it is like, what is even going on? Like, some of the designs in this game are so eccentric and you're like, I don't even know what that is. One of my favorite boss fights in this game is when you're literally fighting school desk and torsos of schoolgirls, right? Not the full body, just the torso, right? This game has some really creative and just kind of like designs where you go, who thought of that? How does anybody even think of enemy designs like that? But like I said, unfortunately, when it comes to articulating things like that, when it comes to articulating how good the combat system is, the crazy enemy variety, the crazy backgrounds, the story, it's really hard to articulate that in an ad versus another game, once again, using Seven Deadly Sins as an example, being able to just kind of show off visually, this is a game you should download, right? And that sounds super superficial, it does. But when it comes to advertising your game and getting people to do those impulse downloads, it is kind of a superficial thing. Look at this. Like, what other game can you play where you fight boss characters that look like that? They just don't exist. But like I said, it's just really hard to articulate what makes this game unique and different in just an advertisement. And that kind of shows when you look at the overall downloads of the game over time. And we're going to bring up Sensor Tower here in a second. It just struggled beyond that initial wave. Look, like, I love this boss fight. I absolutely love this boss fight. Very, very cool. And just for, actually, I'll show you combat, what combat's all about after we go through the numbers to do a little bit more combat. We might do some PvP or something like that. But this is he's throwing his stuffing. He's throwing the stuffing at. The sound effects are crazy too. Very, very cool. Quite unfortunate this game is shutting down. Like I said, just because I didn't play the game, doesn't mean that I want a game to shut down. Obviously, that's silly. I absolutely think this game deserved to live within its small niche, and we're going to talk about that right now. Very good job, girls. we did win. So if we go over here to Sensor Tower, and I do know that all of these numbers are just really broad estimates. Sensor Tower does not report anything lower than 5K. So this game absolutely could have had 500 downloads in the month of August, and it'll always say less than 5K. So we don't know exactly how many downloads it had, but pretty much every game that we see that's, you know, shutting down on this series all has less than 5K downloads. If it has more than that, usually the developers are going to keep it on because they're constantly replacing those old players that I was talking about. They're constantly being able to replace that churn. Now the revenue at first glance looks kind of high considering how small the player base is in global. Like 100K, why not keep the game running for 100K a month? Yes and no. 100K is a lot of money for sure. However, when it comes to paying like a localization team, you know, like management, like that money is not going to stretch very far at all. Like period. 100K is not enough money to maintain a community manager. It's just not enough money to maintain a global presence, unfortunately. However, I do feel like this game was a prime candidate to be rolled into the JP server like Shin Megami Tensei DX2 did. Like that game, instead of shutting down, they rolled the global player base into the JP player base. Now, when it comes to PvP and something like that, it's not very fair, but at the end of the day, it's better than having your game shut down completely. And we already see a lot of players that absolutely adore this game jumping over to the JP side and starting over. Why not just roll those players into the global? Why not just roll global into the JP player base? I don't get it. Because when you look at those numbers and you see how few people are still playing the game, being able to achieve 100K on as small of a player base as Magia Record currently has in global, that's actually pretty, I'm pretty surprised on that. And like I said, I think it's a prime candidate for a game that could have absolutely just rolled its global player base into the JP player base. Why not? Why not? Players have already shown that they're willing to play the game with not everything being translated. Let people maintain their accounts, baby. Come on. 100K is, I think, plenty enough money if you just roll them into the JP server, but I might be missing some stuff. Let's turn off autoplay here just for a second. Like, look at what we're looking at right now. Look at these enemies. Like, I don't even know what this is. Like, it is, let's go back to the enemy. What is this? I don't even know what it is. It's wearing a suit, it has a key and a finger and a flower. Like, I don't even know what this is. But as you guys can see, very similar to Fate Grand Order Combat. I can do a triple combo with my girl here. So I can do a solo 3-hit combo here by doing charge. The cool thing about this blast right here is the fact that you see how it's going horizontal. So I'm gonna hit everybody in this line. Other attacks also are vertical. So depending on what type of arrow that you have on your attack will dictate which direction your attacks go in. Like I said, very similar to Fate Grand Order, but with some twisty twist plus autoplay. You'll love this. Like, what is this? What are you guys bouncing on? Like, this is some really cool design here. So let's try. I can do just a triple accelerator combo. So, like I said, if you play Fate Grand Order, the combat is going to be very familiar. You'll be able to pick it up quite quickly, and then you'll be able to kind of pick up on the nuances of having the grid on the battlefield and the directional attacks as well, pretty fast. But yeah, that's Magia Record, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, quite unfortunate that this game is shutting down. Absolutely felt like this one could have rolled into the JP server, but that's not the way they handled it, unfortunately. Not the or maybe like if they didn't want to do that, maybe offer like a code or something. Like if you log into the JP version of the game and you type in a unique account code, you get something, right? Like there has to be a way, man. There really does have to be a way, especially for a game like this that has such a niche audience that really likes this game, that have been playing it since global launch. And I know you can argue that for almost every global game that shuts down, but the Magia Record player base was they were very into this game. So quite unfortunate that this one's going down. I want to see, oh man, this is the final wave. I was hoping that we'd see like another crazy boss run, but this is gonna have to be enough crazy for you. And like, look at the backgrounds. Like this is not like low definition because they couldn't afford to put it in HD. This was like an artistic design decision to make the backgrounds look like that. Here's a nice little ultimate here, by the way. That was a character that you got free on pre-register, which is kind of fun. Still using her, obviously. This is not my original OG account. I actually had to start over because this game unfortunately had one of those stupid data transfer systems. Freaking Aniplex. So I couldn't recover my OG account, so I actually had to start over. All right, so that is gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's go ahead and burn out our last couple of summons here as we sunset Magia Record. Ton of content in this game. Story, another story. Shout out to Khaled. We got individual magical girl stories. You got your tried and true daily resource grinds. Everything was autoplay friendly. The game also has PvP as well. I think it had live PvP. Don't quote me on that. I think I'm lying to you. I think I might be lying to you. Did it have live PvP at one point? I might be lying. I might be lying. Let's go over here to the summon session real quick. So it looks like I have a couple of tickets here. So let's go ahead and draw out these tickets. We'll do a 10 pull. I'll show off the full animation here. And then of course we'll do rapid fire to close it out. Good music too, by the way. Oh man, I turned up a little bit. There we go. Oh, a little craft essence, artifact, if you will. Worm print, name some more FG. Memoria, you got any more? Nah, I don't. I don't. I tried, man. I was really thinking. I don't know why I challenged myself to these things. And then another one there. Ah, man, come on. Let me get a girl. That sounds weird. Let's do a full 10 pull. We're gonna go ahead and rapid fire this bad boy. Oh no, let's let this one go out. So maybe we'll get like a cool animation of a girl like jumping into the screen here. I don't know what the high quality summons look like. Perfect cheers. Oh, here we go. Maid waifu, you love to see it. And she's using a broom. I mean, yeah, most maids use like things to clean up with, but how many games do you play where you're using a broom as a weapon? Aw, man, how unfortunate, dude. How unfortunate. And that is gonna do it. Just take a look at a few of the arts there, and there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is FG3000. That has been a final look at Magia Record. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.